There it is. We're live, finally.
It's working?
I think so.
Good thing we don't have to deal with computers when we're fishing.
We can't read. How do you read chat? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So live chat, top chat, live chat.
I'll just pull it up on my phone.
All right, we've struggled today, folks. No doubt about it. We've got storms all around us, and I know we're getting tornadoes in Texas and everywhere else, and he's watching on the phone. Oh, y'all back? Yes, we're back.
All right, Cleveland's back again.
He
wins
tried.
again.
We've tried. Let me turn off the lights over here. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Cleveland and me are going fishing.
Bam. Oh, gosh. All right. Yeah, so we got off the Wi-Fi and we went to straight up broadband or whatever the hell you call it nowadays, and we're good now. Awesome. We're getting
Everybody says it's working now.
freaking A.
All right.
That's just off an iPhone, folks. So computer, webcam, fancy stuff.
I mean, it worked before. Why are you giving a thumbs down?
I'm giving a thumbs
There's
down because
storms.
that phone's working. I don't give a shit. I mean,
Good thing Matt had this in the back of his truck.
so yes, some people have rifles. I have a tripod with a iPhone.
Some people have deer skulls.
Show your deer skull.
All right.
Here we go. Do you want to tell the whole story?
No, I don't have enough time for that.
All right. Good story though. He shot it in the back with his crossbow in the property I have here behind the house. Check this bad boy out.
New Year's Eve. This Big Daddy came to play with me. $3 fighting, 15 deer in the field. It was a beautiful night. I do my own Euro mounts.
You power washed that today, right?
Yesterday.
So some people have been, I won't say people have been asking, but some people have questioned about the device that you can buy to take the twist out of your line. So a lot of these lines are gonna say that they don't have any memory. Well, BS, they always have memory. But you can do whatever you can do to take it out of there. And that is this little Chinese device, which is got the best instructions ever.
Horrible instructions.
Horrible instructions.
Don't make sense at all.
Don't make sense at all. But we got it hooked up to a rod, and between it rotating and doing everything else, it'll take about 75% of the twist out of your line, is what I've kind of decided. As long as you do it right. So I think it's worth it, kind of whatever. $40, way too expensive, I get it, but I like it. It's kind of fun to do.
Yes, it was fun after we figured it out. It was frustrating putting it together though. We're gonna have to do a YouTube video on how to install that.
It's amazing. So, what do we want to talk about? So we don't know how much anybody's heard from we've tried to get online here a couple times. We really don't know. So I'm just going to start from the top. 10,800 subscribers. I appreciate it. We're rocking it. It's growing. 3 Pound Fishing is awesome. This is, it's funny how the year, if you go through the year, you would think that the most popular time for YouTube is during the spawn. In reality, when people are not fishing is when they watch YouTube, and that's when they subscribe. So there's an interesting stat. You want to hear this stat? Ready? Woo! Only 20% of the people that watch the videos are subscribers.
Really?
So there's a lot of people out there that are not subscribers. Majority of you are not. They don't think to hit subscribe. So if you got a friend, you got somebody watching, do me a favor, have them hit subscribe. That's my plug for subscribing. That's it. So welcome to 2020.
Yeah.
Big tournaments, lots of tournaments, ACT, Crappie Masters, SICA, which is our local events, tons of them. March, April, May, loaded up. Guide trips. Marcus, how do you feel about guide trips? Share that with the folks.
I mean, waste of money.
The fishing is down.
Waste of money. No fish gonna get caught. Save your money.
He's all about the guide trips not succeeding. So, but book now.
I gotta sit all weekend and not fish.
They've been awesome. Book, if you can, 3poundfishing@gmail.com. So that's my own plug. All right. So what we want to talk about today, new technology. If you have followed us on Facebook and Instagram, we've got some cool stuff. What's that cool stuff? Name one. Oh, you're doing the chat
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
trying to keep up on the chat here.
All right, you do that. So new technology for live scope from Cornfield Crappie Gear. I went there
question
on.
about that right now.
Go for it.
Why are you going to 2 live scopes from CJ something?
So, okay, well, let me just tell you about Cornfield Crappie Gear. They've got this new live sweep that allows for electronically, you can go left, right, sweeping essentially with your live scope, and it be attached to your trolling motor. What that gives you the ability to is to go up to a brush pile and identify it, show the fish to your clients, your guests, your friends, and we can catch fish. I've got it mounted on my trolling motor, so anytime I put it on spot lock and it's going like this, it's waving, it's hard to follow what's going on. So I think there's an advantage for live sweep for brush pile fishing. I also think there's a big advantage for spider rigging. So if you're cruising and you don't want to have to change the direction of what's happening, this allows that to happen automatically. That video will be coming out. It's been done actually already, and it will be posted probably in the next week, 2 weeks. Mark Riddle is going to tell me when he wants me to post it because he anticipates a lot of calls. So it's very, it's the cusp, it's the top. I mean, in terms of live scope technology, in terms of mounting it, it is awesome stuff. Key fob or foot pedal. To get back to your question, why do I have 2 live scopes? Yes, it's overkill. Nobody needs it. I get it. I'm a live scope junkie. I love it so much that me and Marcus were out fishing in the wintertime here on Egypt. We fish out of the back of the boat, and it drove me nuts that we couldn't use the live scope, that we were fishing and throwing like we did in the past. We were guessing. Yep. I hate the idea that we're guessing and throwing fish now. We would do that for how many years? We've done that for so many years without live scope, and all of a sudden we have live scope, and you expect to know where the fish are at. So I got the second live scope to put on the back primarily for that reason, because we fish out of the back of the boat towards these schools of fish, and to have one back there where we could be back there looking at a monitor, that's the reason. That's it, pretty much. I mean, as far as guide trips go, I think it's gonna be an advantage too, because I get 2 or 3 guys in the boat. They can have their own live scope, and they can stop asking me, you know, where's my bait, where's my whatever. They can have control of their own live scope system. I think that would be cool. If it doesn't work, we get rid of it. We chuck it.
That's right. Sell it.
Sell it.
We don't chuck it.
We don't chuck it. But
Unless you want to chuck it on my boat. You can chuck it on my boat.
So I think it's gonna be a great experience. I think live scopes is, I think it's the epitome right now. It is. I mean, I don't care who you say, whether you believe in it or not. It is. It is what it is, and I think people, guests that are in my boat, they appreciate it. They want to learn about it. So if you're taking a guide trip, ask your guide, no matter what lake you're fishing, ask them, do you have live scope? Because if you haven't experienced that, it's a different experience. Have we talked about Grizzly Jig Show?
No.
All right, Grizzly Jig Show. Let's talk about Grizzly Jig Show. That's important. I want everybody to be a part of this. We are running the Ozark Rod booth, me, Marcus, and Wade. So 3 Pound Fishing is running the booth. We want to meet everybody, talk fishing, show them what we're using, go through anything you want to talk about. We're going to be there on, the show is January 23rd through the 26th.
Yeah.
And we will be there on the 24th. So starting the 24th in the morning, we will be there through the 26th. And me, Wade, and Mark. So Marcus, and looking forward to it.
Me too.
He has not been there yet. So his head's going to go.
Maybe they haven't been there either.
If you haven't been there, you need to go, because it's crazy. All the personalities, all the pro staff, if you've seen them on YouTube, if you've seen them on a ad for a company, they're there.
Wally Marshall?
He's there.
I can't wait.
He's going to be right next to our, yeah. You're gonna,
Wally, I'm going to buy you a Natty Light.
our drink of champions. What do we got going there?
All right. So there was one question about, are there any tournaments at Lake of Egypt this year? And you know, I like that question.
So there's the big tournaments are going to be the Sika event early in March. It's a 2-day event. They're calling it a super event, and which is nice. And then there's a Crappie Masters local event in July. So local event, but no national events. The only national event that 3-pound fishing will be a part of for Crappie Masters will be in Grenada, and that will be in March 23rd, I believe.
All right. Here's a tough question. You
Go
ready
for
for
it.
a tough question?
I'm ready.
We answer all the questions. All right, are you ready? Other than sponsor money, why switch to Ozark rods?
I'll tell you about Ozark Rods is, first off, they have their ownership. The Jacksons are incredible. The family is transparent. I've known them for a very long time, and I really feel comfortable with them. But in terms of their products, they have probably the best choice of jigging rods out there. So you have, super sensitive. You have a backbone. I call it mid, stiffness, something that we like. We call it the gray rod. And then you have the brush buster, which is super stiff. And I actually like that probably equally as much. So I love the fact that you have a choice. And so that was a big part of the change that we made. And I love Ozark rods. I love the family and everything that's behind it. And I love the product. So, and we've got some awesome stuff coming out. So you wait until you see what's about to happen in the next month and a half. You are going to flip what is about to come out from Ozark rods.
I agree. I love them.
Yep.
Let's see here. Got anything else to talk about? Give me a minute to read up on these.
So a lot of people will ask me, I haven't, I don't post necessarily what lake we're fishing, but obviously a lot of people know that during the wintertime we fish Egypt because that's where the boat's at. During the summertime we've fished a lot of Kincaid and a lot of the other lakes, but during the wintertime we primarily stay on Egypt. So if you're interested in a guide trip, it's Lake of Egypt primarily, Kincaid, Bryn Lake, Southern Illinois is where we're located. So a lot of people what people don't realize is that people are coming in from everywhere, and they're wanting to know where we're at. So to book a guide trip, you can go to 3poundfishing@gmail.com or 618-694-5162.
And you're not selling live scope, right?
I'm not selling live scope. I have no agreement with Garmin. Garmin could care less about 3-pound fishing.
So I want to address this question. This guy says he wouldn't get a guide trip nowadays if he didn't have a live scope.
What do you mean he
I
would?
disagree. Well, I don't know if he's a guide or if he's talking about he wouldn't go with a guide without live scope. But right there. I disagree. I miss the old, I'd say it every day. Don't I? I mean, you don't have to have live scope to catch crappie. It helps. It's fun. It adds something, but I miss the buoy throw, sitting on a pile. The fish are there, and you're.
So every time we go to a pile, he's like, throw a buoy, which I think is still very important.
Yeah.
I still think it's very important. Don't get me wrong that you're not. If I'm fishing open water, if I'm fishing a brush pile, I still want to have a visual. What happens is you get trapped in looking at your screen, and you forget about where you're at logistically. You want to make sure that you can get back to where you started, where the good stuff was at. So I do believe in throwing a buoy point or a marker, but and it's to each his own.
Right, but that would be like me saying I'm never going to fish in my boat again because I don't have a live scope. Like I look forward to it. Live scope doesn't catch the fish for you. Let you see where they're at, but we knew they were there to begin with. It's proof. You know what
I agree. I mean, it's to each his own. I think there are a lot of people out there that are anti-live scope, that they don't believe in the technology and they don't think it should be allowed. But I don't want to get into that conversation. That's kind of like, whatever. I can tell you that Marcus has had a lot of fun in the boat with live scope. I think it would be fun one day for us to go out and do a video with just the 2D. We love 2D. We love 2D. 2D is like, gosh dang. Up till I got LiveScope in April of 2019. I'll never forget it when I got it. And I actually didn't use it until May. But it was 2D that got, that's what 3-pound fishing was built off of, was 2D and a map, throwing a buoy, and I would have multiple marks on every mark. And
you can switch me from bass fishing that way.
yeah. So no, I'm not, I think it's fantastic. So regardless.
The thing that changes for me is when I'm fishing in my boat with 2D and I'm on a pile and I'm not catching any damn fish, I'm gonna be a little more mad knowing that there's 100 fish down there that aren't biting my dang shit. But I miss the old way a little bit. All right, let me find another good question.
You know, I talk about, you know, ACT does a great job. I think they all do a good job, but let me just say ACT does a fantastic job. They do. We did our only one ACT last year. It was the last event of the year, and I'm impressed by them because the evening before the event, they did a conversation with everybody that was involved with the event, and the owner there, I think his name's Matt, but he explained, he goes, LiveScope's here. It ain't changing. It's no different than when side imaging came and everything else. We're not changing it. Nobody else is going to change it. And so I think my personal opinion is that the people that are against LiveScope, they just need to adopt it because it's not going away. It's not like, it's like side imaging. There was a time there when side imaging came out and a lot of other people didn't have it. And I'm just adopted. It brings another level to fishing. And for all the people that think that you're going to catch all the fish, no.
Nope.
No,
You can see them.
You can see them, and you cannot make them bite. It's amazing how they won't bite.
Yep. Well, we don't have any questions at the moment. We got a lot of saying the boat looks good.
Yeah, so the boat went around, got a wrap. It's at the lake now. We're here at the round table, and boy, I'll tell you what, I'm impressed by Gas Light Vinyl. I think the company is out of Belleville. Give them a call. They are top notch. They called me today and they said they appreciated posting the video, and they said they had already gotten 3 orders for wraps, and they are top notch. I'm going to tell you right out straight up, when they sent me the pictures of the boat, I said, oh man, that looks freaking awesome. And we worked on it. We did about 4, I think, run-throughs on changing it, and we went with the cryptic version of it. And I never in my wildest dreams when I picked it up would think that it would look closely like the image did on the computer, but oh my gosh, it did. And so it's BAM, it's in charge, and people are like, well, they're gonna notice you around the lake. Yes, but I'll tell you, when you're in a boat, you don't even know you have a wrap on, and people are looking at you, but you don't know why, and then you remember that you have a wrapped boat. But for the most part, I mean, without a doubt, that group out of Belleville, Illinois, did a top-notch job. And they called today. I had a seal that was this kind of loose on around a weld, which is, you know, weld is rough, so you expect that seal to become loose. And he called, made sure that it was doing good. So I give them a big thumbs up. What's up? Without a doubt. So, hey, we want to thank our partnerships for this year, 2020. Let's talk about the people that we are working with. You're going to see me wear this Jinko hoodie. They've given me a couple of them, so they always seem to be on me. Jinko Fishing rocks. I love their baits. I love their slasher heads. I love their plastics. We have them everywhere around our boat. Jinko has supported 3-pound fishing. We appreciate them so much. Ozark Rods, without a doubt, that is we love them to death. I love the family. I love the rods. I'm very passionate about Ozark Rods, and I want to help them grow to anything I can because I think the family's great, and they're transparent, and they want to help 3-pound fishing. So you gotta love that.
That's right. That's right.
What other sponsors we got, Marcus?
Oh, of course, the American Fish Tree. If you've seen it on the videos, it works. I love brush pile fishing, and that's your brush pile.
So American Fish Tree, let's talk about it because that's I've done so many attractors. People know I've done bamboo, I've done PVC, I've drug out brush. I've done it all on video. But American Fish Tree, no joke. They provide a product that might not be the cheapest, but it is without a doubt the best. I've put out American Fish Trees, and within weeks, 30 days, I put a video out. I remember, and the thing is loaded up. Every time we go up to the American Tree, crazy, crazy. And we believe the reason why is because the branches that come off that are very wide, and so they allowed shade and cover for the fish, and they feel comfortable. It is always loaded. Now, unfortunately, some people have found the American Fish Tree.
Yeah.
So we have some new locations that we need to find for the new ones, but
The area is loaded as well.
yes, that's true.
But you can't find them all.
Yeah. So Grizzly Jig. So we are going to be running again the booth at Grizzly Jig. They're our sponsor as well, Grizzly Jig. We appreciate Wade and his family. They do a great job for 3-pound fishing. Cornfield crappie gear. You know, I don't have it on my boat right now, but the rocket launchers, check them out. And then, of course, the live sweep.
Can't wait to check it out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Can't be tomorrow.
Sunday.
I got volleyball
Sunday.
for my kids.
Sunday.
He gives me crap all the time.
Sunday.
Drink.
You need one?
We'll cheer. No, we'll
I'm
cheer.
out.
You're out?
I'm out.
Why don't you get one? All right.
Sunday.
All right. I got a guide trip Sunday. It'll have to be after the guide trip. See, he doesn't like the guide trips. All right, so fishing specialties, and then lastly, power poles and Lowe's boats. Let me tell you, the Stinger 198 rocks it. The frickin' boat's killer. I can't say enough good things. Power poles, although expensive, are worth every dime when you can get in shallow water, without a doubt.
Did you talk about fishing specialties?
I did.
Alright.
So, well, the
Might as well
fishing
make it.
specialties is what we're going to use, and we have not done a video on it yet. It will be our first video when we get back on the boat together. It's actually the manual pole setting device in the back of the boat for live scope. So, I'll probably do a video on Sunday about it so I can share the experience with everybody.
Ooh, good question here.
Ooh, I
Good
can't
question.
wait.
Good question. You're going to
All right.
love it.
All right.
David, what's the best Ozark rod for casting? We both got the same answer.
For casting, I like the gray rod.
10-footer.
Yeah, this is money.
10-footer gray.
Let me show you that, folks.
Good question, David. We talk about that all the time.
So the reason why, it is a 10-footer. You gotta remember it's a 10-footer.
10-footer in a garage.
10-footer in the garage and an 8-foot ceiling. All right, so I won't even mess with it. All right, the reason why we like a 10-footer is that we can do everything with it. So the idea that you need a 7, 8, 9-footer, and then a 10-footer if you want to do, you just have, in my personal opinion, learn to do everything you can with a 10-footer. You can cast with it. You can do everything you want. We had one of my best episodes lately. I can look up here, even the video's up at like 40-some thousand views within the last 3 weeks or something like that. He's casting with a 10-footer as if it's a 9-footer. You can hear it. I mean, it doesn't matter. Learn to work with a 10-footer because what that does is that allows you now to pitch longer distances. It allows you to do a lot of different things with just one rod. So you rarely even bring a rod anymore for that. You have, I guess maybe.
10-footer, that's it.
Yeah. So a 10-footer gray series is Crusher.
Versatile.
It's versatile. It does everything. Yeah.
Yep. It really does. How do the power poles work on Egypt?
Power poles work great. Again, you have to be in shallow water. So let me just say that. Wintertime, springtime, it's not a summertime thing. I never used them during the summer. They're super expensive. So I always tell people, I said, but would I get them if I had them, if you have the money, get them. Because during the springtime and during the wintertime, I can park myself up in a cove. It's my first choice is to go right into the cove and then go left, right, opposed to trying to stay out there on spot lock and cast into the cove. I have a lot more, I can cover a lot more space if I go right up in it. That's how I feel about it. So people don't like that, huh?
There are a lot of spots where you're able to use it. I mean,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you have to have the access to it. Wintertime is tough at Egypt just because there's so many boats that come in because we're one of the few lakes. They know catching's good and it's warm water. But
got
Yeah.
one other question here. Barrel slime, barrel slime. Why the 198 instead of the 195?
well, 198 gives you, 4 inches in terms of width. I think it's 4 or 5 inches in terms of width. So my boat is fatter than a 195.
All right, I didn't know that either.
You didn't know that?
I,
It might be it's either 3 or 8 inches, one of the two, but it's a fatter boat. So it's more like a pig. I like a pig. Is that bad to say? Shouldn't say I like a pig. It is. You are.
Is Cleveland still here? Cleveland. Where you located, Cleveland?
So I will bring up the fact that me and Marcus will be we won't be running the Marion show, but we will be doing presentations at the Marion Fish Show in Marion, Illinois, February 8th. So if anybody is from Southern Illinois, we're gonna be doing a presentation on live scope and brush piles. So it'll be our first go at doing presentations.
It's gonna go
But,
well.
yeah, looking forward to it. It's a good show. It's not as crappie. It's everything. It's like fishing, boats, everything else. But we'll be doing a presentation.
I'm excited.
So
Cleveland's from South Carolina. I don't know how we're gonna get that fishing trip lined up. I owe you, Cleveland. You've won twice.
we are looking for, if you saw the video that I put up on the wrap, if anybody knows of a dealership that would have an interest in sponsoring 3-pound fishing, we're looking for a truck that we can drive to and from events. So slap the dealership logo on there. That would be huge for us because the truck's getting old. So that's my plug for a sponsorship. We're looking for a dealership that would be willing to give us a truck just for the
Or two.
Marcus is looking for a truck. But anybody that knows a dealership friend, a buddy, call them up, say, hey man, you can put your logo, and we just need a truck to and from these events. Would be a big deal.
All right, so I know we're casting with 6-pound line.
Yes.
All right, for winter fishing. In thick cover, what's the best weight?
We use, unless I'm spider rigging in Mississippi, I'm using 8.
8 or 10.
Yeah,
I
8 or
use
10.
Both, but
Well, I was gonna say 10 in Grenada and is guaranteed. Actually, it's always been 10 or 6. So you're right.
I'm talking about me. I use 8 or 10 when I'm doing brush piles.
Do you cast with 8?
Well, I've been casting with 6.
6.
And it's been doing awesome.
Yeah. So
But I remember the struggle. Like every time you get hung up on a brush pile with 6-pound, it was like you're breaking off. You put the 8-pound on, and you're pulling some of your jigs back.
I was using 10. I was at 10. Then we were casting a little. I was casting a little bit with 8, and then I went to 6. Stay with 6. So 6 and 10 for me right now.
Hey, J Ray, my guy. How about you guys make a video for us guys that don't have all these fancy electronics? That's what we've been talking about.
We actually have one coming out. It's a bank fishing video. So yeah, all the electronics. You still catch fish without them.
Yep,
Doesn't matter.
that's right. I filled up my boat plenty of times.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Yep. But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's what I want to do with my boat. Show them how to catch them cheap.
Ever since he's been in my boat, he has not been back. Have you fished out of your boat since you've been with live scope? Seriously, serious conversation.
Well, I don't take my boat winter fishing because I'm not gonna find them with 2D.
You've been
You know
fishing
what I
with me longer than winter fishing.
No.
We got back together. We started fishing together
I
and
fished all spring and fall in my boat. I haven't taken my boat out for a while, but
fall's a stretch.
once spring comes, I'll be in my boat a lot.
All right. Well, report back to us. We'll give you a report on that.
I will. It'll be a frustrating report.
You know, the funny, no, you can catch fish with any, I mean, it doesn't matter. But
What's the blue rod? John Bain. Can you boat flip with the blue rod? What's that mean?
yeah, he's just saying the jigging rod.
Oh, purple?
So, yeah, the sensitive one. Yeah, you can boat flip it. I mean, Wade used it. Wade uses the 11-footer and I don't know if you heard his question. The question is, can you boat flip with the jigging rod? You know, people like that super sensitive feel that you get at B&M. You know, that's what the jigging pole feels like. It's nice if that's what you're into. Everybody's into it, something different. Absolutely. So we fished and Kincaid, me and Wade did. We fished almost exclusively with it, the 10-11 footer, and Wade fell in love with the 11 footer initially. He's now reverted back to the Pro Series Gray, but absolutely, we flipped in tons of fish. In fact, a lot of those videos are on. There's a lot of videos out there on YouTube with him flipping them in.
Yeah.
They were good sized fish.
I like this question from Lee Eddy. Where are the biggest fish, Egypt or Kincaid?
On average, without a doubt, Egypt is.
I agree.
100%.
But state record.
Well, yeah, state records at Kincaid. But am I going to say they have the biggest fish? No.
No,
I'm going to say I'm between the two. I'd go fish at Egypt because your average fish on Egypt is, and I mean, it is.
3/4.
I'm not going to. It's a good sized fish. So, but on Kincaid, you are going to weed through some smalls. And I fished Kincaid this year, the summertime, and most of my videos came off the Kincaid. And we fished it a lot. We caught a lot of good fish, but still your average is better on the other lakes.
Matt.
It's just like Wren Lake, too. A lot of people are going to take Wren Lake. Wren Lake's exactly like Kincaid, in my opinion. Wren Lake is a lot of smalls, but you have great fish there. Wren Lake is known for good-sized crappie.
I disagree.
Really?
I wouldn't compare it to Wren Lake at all.
Why?
There's nothing. You don't go through near the smalls you go through at Wren Lake. Not in my experience there. Rend and crab I would call closer.
Really?
Yeah. Rend and crab are pretty close.
No, I don't know. At the end of the day, all three of those lakes, Wren, crab, Kincaid, you're getting small fish mixed in with the big fish. Rarely does that happen.
Yeah, you're right there.
It doesn't happen in Egypt.
Yeah.
Your small fish on Egypt is you're gonna like it on any of the other lakes.
Yeah. All right, Matt. If you could shoot docks on Egypt, would you love the Ozark dock shooter?
I haven't tried it. Is there a dock shooter?
I don't know.
What's his name? Throw him out.
Barrel slime.
Barrel slime? I like the name. We're not allowed to shoot docks, so I don't ever even try. I've never got into it. So Jerry, a guy I fished with on the strip cut videos, he brought us out to Kincaid, and I was shooting docks, and we did a small little video on it. It's been on YouTube. It's on YouTube now, and it's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. Who was I talking to today? I was talking to another YouTuber today about it, and a guide trip guy I was talking to as well. And everybody's worn out from their knees, and they're, no, it's not my thing. You know how everybody has, it's funny how crappie fishing is. You have your thing. Whether it's spider ringing, whether it's brush pile fishing, whether it's dock shooting, they're all awesome. They're all successful, but dock shooting is just not my thing. So even if Ozark Rods if they have one, I think they do have one.
People are talking about it, so they must.
So they.
John says he loves the Ozark dock shooter.
Yeah. So
I've never done it.
And now I know that Blake. In fact, he gave me one. He gave me one.
It's so small you can't find it.
No, it's a 7-footer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a 7-footer? It's a 7-footer. I think I have it in my boat. I brought it out to a guide trip because I had a girl with me. A girl on the guide trip.
Can't find it? Maybe it's in the boat.
I had the dock shooter. I brought it on a guide trip because
7-footer, yes.
yeah, it's a 7-footer. Mandy came with her husband and brother, and I brought it out there so that she could use it during the guide trip. So we've used it, but we were casting with it. So
Another good question from David. When fishing deep brush, is it best to fish with heavier jig or add a split shot? I think split shot.
how deep are we talking?
I don't know. Let's say,
We're talking-
let's
if we're-
say 16.
Oh, is that deep?
I mean, I don't think you want a bigger jig head.
I mean, presentation is everything. So if you need a smaller bait, then I would be using a split shot. If I wasn't, then I would, you know. So it depends how fast you want to get it down there and what kind of presentation you want to give it to. But I can always tell you this: I always start larger. My presentation is going to start larger, and then I'm going to scale it down. So if I'm going to start with 1/8, even with the split shot on top, that allows me, and I'm not getting any activity, I can go down to a 1/16. If that's not getting activity, I go down to a 32nd. So I work it down. I never work it up.
Kevin, I like your reverse psychology. Wren Lake is the worst lake in southern Illinois. All you out-of-staters, please stay home. It's not a bad lake. You just got some smalls. Stop it.
Red Lake, no, Red Lake is hot right now.
Yeah.
It is hot. Everybody knows it. Come on now. Everybody, no, it's the hottest lake right now in Southern Illinois. It has been for the last month.
Yep.
Reality is. So, keeping it real, letting you know, we need to hit that again.
And we will, thanks to Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
Everybody go to Red Lake. Beer?
Sure. Barrel Slime's got another one for you.
You want another light?
Sure. Barrel Slime's challenging you.
I love it. I love it.
If you want a crappie challenge, come up and see if you can master Carlisle.
Well, amen to that.
We just talked about that the other day.
Yeah, not gonna happen. It's just, I'll be honest with you. I'm not being negative about Carlisle. But I hear it's, the wind hammers it. There's so many great lakes down here. It's just tough for me to get up there. I've just made a mental choice that even all of the events that are occurring there locally and even some nationally, I don't go up there. I have so many guys. I've had like 3 guide trips from guys that's their lake, and they've offered me, "Oh, come on up." I can't. There's not enough time, not enough hours in the day for me to drive that far away. I think Kincaid is about as far as it goes, and
Where's Reelfoot?
Tennessee.
I was asking.
What's funny about Reelfoot is that, and I've had a lot of people in that direction too. It's not as hyped up as it used to be. If you were to talk to me 6 years ago, everybody was talking about Reelfoot. I don't hear about it. I don't know if it's because of the Asian carp or what's going on there.
Oh, yeah. Somebody asked earlier if Egypt has Asian carp.
No,
Definitely
don't
not.
you bring up
Definitely not. He said yet. He said yet. I forgot about that one.
Think about it. No, and that's the problem with Kentucky Lake and everything else, man.
Really?
It's crazy. I
So
get
what,
people.
are you catching Asian? I don't have any.
I guess
experience
Asian
with
carp spook the crappie. Not only that, but they're just a nuisance.
But you're not catching them instead of crappie. Like they're just jumping in your boat or something.
I'm not sure about that whole deal. I just know that the catching is not as good because I think they spook the crappie.
Or maybe they eat all the bait fish.
It's horrible. I hear so many stories about it, but not at Egypt. Not at Egypt. Not anywhere around here. It typically happens, I believe, in the rivers because they can transfer from one to another body of water. So if you're in a lake, unless somebody were to drop a bunch and they were to hatch, and then it would be a different ballgame. Kind of guessing on that.
That's not gonna happen,
No.
right?
No, no, you better not. I think it'd be
All right,
difficult.
so we got some real questions coming in.
All right.
REEL. Real.
Oh, okay.
Questions.
So I use, in terms of reels, these are eagle claw reels.
Do you know the ratio on it? Guys,
Yeah, I did a whole video on the ratio and what it is, and my eyes are getting bad again.
4 to 1 or